On this report, Joseph W. quenches our thirst for insight in the local real estate market.
Jerry, I'll tell you, we had a couple clients tell us in September and October that they wanted to wait for the election to be over. It's kind of logical. I mean, it was like no big deal. Deb and I have some things that we wanted to do, but we wanted to wait. We didn't want to be premature in purchasing something and kind of getting your heads above your skis or whatever. Everybody I have talked to, even some of our clients that were Democratic, okay, have said, I feel good about where things are. I obviously didn't like the election, but they all like real estate and they all want to make some money. And while the Fed controls the interest rates and Powell's not going to resign anytime soon and his term is not over until 26, I think interest rates will start to, what was it, 3 days after they cut the rate by a quarter, right after the election, which I thought was kind of weird why he didn't do it like the day before, because while the Fed's not supposed to be political, I still think that it is. I think that we're never going to see 3% mortgages. So, I remember we had a young lady working for us years ago, Taylor Titus, and she bought her first house on Napa Valley, and I think her rate was about 3%. And we got talking about, she said, well, I'll be able to refinance this. I said, no, because we're never going to see these rates again. Well, I think if we can get down to the point that we see the rates in the high fours, 4.755, I think that's probably a good year and a half away. But people are feeling good. So our phones are ringing. They're not ringing off the hook, but they're ringing. Deals are closing. We've got a couple of good transactions that we're working on. And nobody that we were doing business with said, if this person won or this person lost, I was going to kill the deal. So it's kind of interesting. I think that people have confidence. I think also, Terry, I think that people recognize that the high desert region, including in Palmdale, Lancaster, even including Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree, and Marengo Valley, and in Coachella Valley, those are the only places to grow in Southern California. We got 40 million people in California. We got a lot leaving, but we're still seeing some growth, and those areas are going to grow. And people that have capital and developers, they're constantly looking for that next place. So I'll tell you one thing. We get a ton of calls from West LA. A lot of calls from West LA. I was raised near West LA, so I know Wilshire Boulevard and Little Santa Monica like the back of my hand. And sometimes I think to myself, I like to go down there for a day and have one of those boards that, have land for sale, Victorville, and see how many people pull over. But no, I think at the end of the day that people are very optimistic and nobody's bailing. And even if, you wanted, one person to win over the other, it's not stopping people from investing, I think. So it's all good.
A report on economic development in the Victor Valley, Mojave River Valley, is incomplete without an update on Silverwood.
Well, first thing, for those that don't know about Silverwood's really been a vision for the last 40 years. It was Ranch Los Flores originally, then John O'Haney and his group of partners came in. He had some partners out of Dallas, Texas, and it took them, it was like 6 years to re-entitle it. And after they got it re-entitled, they changed the name to Silverwood. So a couple major things that people don't realize. The money that's been raised from this has all been domestic money. And the man behind raising the last big tranche of it, about $65 million to get the project where it is today, his name's Ray Huerta, W-E-R-T-A. So who's Ray Huerta? In my world, he's the top of the top. Ray was former chairman of CBRE. The Bradco companies back in 2000 and 2005 had a working relationship with CBRE. We had a handshake deal. I called it a cocktail napkin deal between Scott Kaplan and Lou Horn and that. They're just, CBRE is just, they're the epitome. They're the best of the best. So he's a former chairman, sat on the board of directors. Also the president of the Irvine Company. I think the Irvine Company is one of the, if I were a young man, I would just love to move to Irvine and go to work for Don Brennan. I think Don's one of the brightest people in land planning and all that kind of stuff. So you have people like that have raised this money. They moved about 15 million cubic yards of dirt. They padded 634 lots. They've got 15,663 dwelling units that they're going to develop over 9,633 acres. They're building a community center right now. Deb and I, Deb's my wife, and Francisco Diaz, who's vice president of the company. We went down 3 weeks ago Monday, took lunch down to John and sat down at the conference room table, and we got in the Jeep and went on out there. And Terry, it's like nothing that the high desert or the Mojave River Valley has ever seen. Absolutely nothing. From the topography to the elevation to the views, I'm going to tell you, I got to say, Ray Huerta and John Ohanian and your partners down there, who I met out of Dallas, Texas. We met one day at the Apple Valley Museum. You've just absolutely hit a home run. So they've got 5 builders. They should be starting construction on the models here probably, I think, in December. They believe that they'll have them finished by the end of February. So you got Hovanian, okay, that's a public builder. You've got Watt Homes, okay, Watt Homes is former Ray Watt, and Ray Watt used to be the secretary of HUD. He only built 100,000 homes. He's passed on. He was one of my icons. He was like him and John Lusk and Ralph Lewis and William Lyon. I mean, those guys were just guys that I always wanted to be like. You've got Woodside, Richmond American. They're owned by the same Japanese company, but they're 2 different products. And then you got Lennar. So you've got 5 incredible builders. When they underwrote the pricing has now changed based on product type, the square footages. There are 5 very different home styles that will be offered, and they'll be offered, I think, between somewhere in the 4s all the way up to the mid 7s. So it's their interest list is twice what they thought it was going to be. So they're getting really good reaction. So if somebody is interested, I would go to, I think it's silverwoodca.com and go take a look. It is, I am so proud to see that project here after all these years. One of my very close friends, Mark Eagleton, who unfortunately passed away years ago, at one time was involved in the project. Him and a bunch of his buddies that went bankrupt on it. I was told about it on my first trip to Victorville from Santa Barbara when I was vice president of Pegasus Development on the weekend of September 21st, 1986, when Hesperia wasn't even incorporated. So the brokers driving us around pointed in that direction, said there's this huge project out there someday, and it finally came to. So it's a game changer for the high desert. I congratulate John Ohanian and his staff, Jonathan Weldy. He's a good friend that works down at Ray Huerta. They're bringing that level of class now. I think it's gonna push all the other home builders within the interior market out here with KB and those homes. I think it's going to push builders now to say, what are they going to do? Let me close and say this. They're building this as the smartest community in the United States of America. Yes, you heard me say that. They're building this as the smartest community in the United States of America. The master developer above them, above John and his group, is a company called DMB. They're based out of Scottsdale. I think they have 20 communities going across the country. Their first one was Mission Viejo. So they've got a lot of experience. They know exactly what people are looking for. They know exactly how to market to them. And most importantly, they know what to build. So as John said to me, probably on my 3rd or 4th trip down there, he said, Joe, we envision that you're going to come on home, you're going to park your car on Friday night, and you're not going to get in your car until Monday morning. You're going to walk to the community center. You're going to go to the park. I mean, they're going to have just massive parks. He showed me some park sites that I'm going to tell you, they're bringing some competition on up here. So, Barstow had the biggest sports park up here. Barstow, if you're watching anybody out there, I'm going to tell you better go dress that dude up, because this is big time stuff. And I think for all the other cities, I think all the council members of the different cities should go take a look at this. Competition is good. I think what it does, it refines your game, and it makes all boats rise. So, John, congratulations. Ray Huerta, congratulations. I just think you're great, and I hope I'm around when you got that last home done. They are going to have an age-restricted product coming in here in the next couple of years. So I was kind of hoping when I took Deb down there that I was going to be able to do the sales job, and she said, Joe, I don't want to move off the golf course. She loves her view, and I can't say I blame her, but I did say I'd be willing to negotiate on something down there. But yeah, it's just a great project. So congratulations.